And I think we're live, just like that. I got to get an intro. I need an intro, don't you think?
You need to talk
Yeah.
to you need to talk to Deacon Burning Man about that.
Well, we've got an intro. It's just he can't use it on this version of
StreamYard.
or StreamYard.
Yeah. They won't let they used to let you use a few video clips, but now they want their money. Oh my God, and they want a lot of money, those assholes. So
They're like drug dealers. They just give you a few free samples, and then they
right.
That's why I have.
Yeah. Anyway, how's everybody?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. What do you want the world to know?
Never talk to the cops. Leave
And
the
I'm
bill.
Dave.
Lawyer.
No, we're all talking at once.
Oh,
Yeah.
I said I'm thrilled to see Simos and I'm thrilled to see Dave.
Yeah. And I don't know if Dave's going to join us tonight, but anyway, Dave has not been feeling well, so probably not. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway.
Big shout
And
out to you,
Simos,
Dave. Big shout out to you,
sitting
Dave. I miss you a lot.
Simos, you've been like sitting on your butt a lot, Like,
Yeah. It's been
Yeah.
3 weeks now, and I'm slowly getting back to myself now. So
yeah.
hopefully another week or two, and I'll be up to speed.
Well,
Yay!
we're not gonna
Dave's
judge
here.
you.
Dave's
Dave's
here.
here. Dave's here.
Can't do
Okay,
the show
guys,
without
so-
Dave.
Yeah. So, what are we gonna do, boys and girls? Today.
well, why
Well,
don't we react to some Christmas stuff?
Let's just go for some low hanging fruit.
Yes. Make fun of dumb people.
That's what I think. Let's just start with a bit of low hanging fruit.
You want
And,
the low hang? Well, how low?
yeah.
Jimbob
Well, I
low?
mean, really, maybe not that low. Oh yeah, go on. Let's start with the very low. Yeah, Jimbob low. Why not?
Jimbob low. Yeah. Okay, we can do that.
That's definitely ground level.
I just got to figure out how to do that. And I don't know. Let me see here. Full screen layout.
Welcome everybody from Godless Grannies. Thank you for coming over for the raid.
What
Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to hit the 1,000 mark here.
I don't know. I don't know what the secret is here for doing this. Oh, there it is. I guess that is the secret.
Okay, and Scott,
Am I
so
typing?
it's so nice to hear your typing back.
Well,
I've missed it.
I've missed you reminding me that I'm typing. Without just let you know somebody cares
Yeah.
about not hearing my typing.
It's the little things in life.
Hyper-specific claim.
Okay, just stop it there. Stop it there. I've got a comment.
Stop there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has anybody noticed, like, there's no difference between Jimbob and his microphone? Anybody notice that? No difference at all. They say
Yeah.
pretty much the same thing. They both talk shit.
Yep.
And both of them looks like they're covered with hair.
Yeah. I think he's got like a dead raccoon on that, or dead weasel covering his microphone. I wonder if that's RFK Roadkill. Maybe that's where he got that from. RFK Roadkill. Yeah. So this is a little clip where he's talking to a guy that's kind of a smart guy, and Jimbob is not so smart.
I'm just going to say that mics like that probably keep you from like sticking the mic all the way in your mouth. And maybe he leans towards that tendency sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah. You get hairballs. Like hairball. You ready?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Is evolution, and specifically the conversation I had with not a Professor Dave, and the end there was the important part, especially, which is this: if you look at the body
I saw
and
this.
everything you look at, the brain, the heart, the liver, bones, every set of operations that do a task, right? They developed from a random process that they accidentally arised, and they just accidentally happened to do a really specific task.
Stop it there.
That's just
Stop
what
it there.
happened. But
Stop it there. Yeah, it's arose, not arised.
Arised.
Arose. It's past tense. Past tense, not future tense.
They
Or
arise.
present tense. And no, it didn't randomly happen. No, that's again the straw man, which Jimbob has been corrected on evolution so many times, and this is why he's low-hanging fruit. Of course,
Right.
they only come to pass through a population, to which makes it evolution. It has to go through an population, not just an individual. But what makes it part of evolution is going through the population, which means it's been selected through natural selection, which is not random. So I don't know how many times he's been told that over the years, but the fact he's having to look up to his God with that face on tells me that he knows he's lying.
Also,
Go ahead.
like, I love the sleeveless lumberjack shirts.
Oh yeah. I mean, he does. To be fair, he does snap a lot of sticks.
Yeah, they show off his guns. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call them guns exactly. I'd call them random mutation.
Well,
There's nothing random about it. It's a causative sieve that it has to go through. So.
Yes.
Okay. He's going to talk about the brain.
From that view, you can't say the argument I'm bringing is you can't say that they if you say none of those things have purpose, they just kind of happen to do this thing, and it's lucky for the organism that it does this thing. But the liver doesn't have the purpose of filtering toxins. The intestines doesn't have the purpose for the body of processing nutrients and then pooping out the excrements and the things that aren't needed. There's no purpose to that, right? It just accidentally happens, and it happens to be advantageous. That's the evolutionary view. From Dave's view, anyway.
No,
People
not.
maybe disagree with.
No, that's
So-
not from Dave's view either, by the way.
Yeah.
I saw the interview between Dave and Jimbob, and Jimbob was just got trashed in it.
And Jimbob was trying to get him to, he was talking about purpose, and Dave was saying, no, there's no, like, intrinsic purpose. Yeah. To evolution or whatever. And Jimbob has gone crazy over that ever since. I mean, that really threw him.
Can you highlight Kurt's comment?
Kurt.
Yeah, it's his interpretation to the right to bear arms.
What?
Yeah, you're right. The sleeveless shirt. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah. Yep. You could push him into admitting random doesn't exist, therefore everything is determined, and he hates Calvinism. Okay. That would be an interesting one. Let's see. Shut up, Jimbob. Yeah, this is... I like that. Anyway.
Yeah, there wasn't like a committee that said, next year we need to work on, a heart for this organism. So let's draw up the designs and get it done. I guess that's the kind of purpose that Jimbob wants to inject into a scenario that doesn't need that kind of purpose. It's just the things with the hearts survived long enough to reproduce. So the things with the hearts lived on in the population, and then the hearts developed all the different various ways that the hearts developed, but it was through the mechanisms of evolution and not divine interference that we can tell. But that's the thing about divine interference. There's no evidence of it. There's nothing that says, there's the divine interference right there. It's indistinguishable from evolution.
Yeah. And is it like a not so intelligent designer, like would be the better if you were going to try to make an argument for that, the not so intelligent designer. But like, I think we all know why Jimbob is actually a cartoonist and not a biologist.
Yeah. He's
also just to say that look, this is the well-trodden line of the intelligent design and creationist kind of argument, right? It's because we use that language when we're talking about biology, right? We use purpose design language. Why? Because it's much easier to explain something that way, right?
With language, yeah.
With that kind of language, it's just much easier to do it. But we're not using it in the same way that we're thinking that an intelligent agent is behind it.
Exactly.
That's the difference. Okay, so they're deliberately equivocating on a point, and Jimbob, so much so, I believe he's lying about it now, because that point was made to him in the Dave interview, as well as I've said it to him personally. I think most people that have spoken to Jimbob in our community have said that exact point to him, right? So, you know, and it just shows how little that these people that are creationists care about actually having even the simplest type of education, right? I said to someone, I think it was Irish, look, it's not difficult to get an education. It really isn't difficult to do it, right? So I don't know what your problem is, that you have to keep fucking grifting like this, right? Because all you need to do is spend a year or two just reading a couple of basic textbooks, right? And you will have all the information that you need to understand why you're making such simple and like logical errors when you're talking about these sort of topics.
Yeah,
But
they
it's
even
not-
have textbooks with color pictures.
Yeah, it's just not difficult to get that education, right?
Well,
I know. To get, I know, like, you know, Big Bad Mama pushed back on me, and he said,
Yeah, I'll say.
no, hang on a minute. Big Bad Mama pushed back on me, and he said, oh no, it's very difficult to be a geologist. Da da da. Well, yeah, if you want to do it as your job, right? Because thousands and thousands of people study it, so of course you have to get to a very high level. The same as if you want to be a theoretical physicist. You got to spend 10 years, or a doctor. Those are difficult. That's a difficult amount of education to get. But you don't need that kind of education to understand the basics in any fucking subject. Any
Sure.
subject. Right? So a couple of years, a year tops, just educating yourself would be enough to get rid of most of the basic errors that these people make. Right?
Yeah.
And I just think that after a certain while, you know, just shout at them for fuck's sake, because they're idiots.
Well,
Yeah.
Jimbob is kind of like I guess you call it idiot savant. He can use language. He can use the language, but I really think he's too dumb to understand how words work. How using the word purpose works, right? Like
Well, you know, I don't think he is too dumb to understand it. That's why I think he's genuinely knows he's equivocating, because he's been told so many times.
True.
I think he's too dumb to actually realize what's going on. He's moving between like three meanings: intentional purpose, biological function, and normative standard. Basically, he's like the word purpose has a pretty rich definition and usage in our language, right? And he puts it out there like it's got to be something hanging in spirit space or something, that, you know, purpose is like a ontological category or some fucking thing. And that's what he's doing. And I don't think he gets it when he's going from one usage of the word to another.
No,
he's talking about
absolutely not.
biological function.
Yeah.
Liver removing toxins, right? And he said, what does he think? Liver can't remove toxins because it has no purpose? I don't know what he's.
Mike never attributes to malice what he can explain with incompetence.
Yes.
So, like, Mike never ever goes for these people are being intentionally dishonest, no matter how many of us all say they're full of shit. He's like, no, just don't think they get it. I think they're too dumb.
Yeah, he's a special little critter, and he is just, you know, he's kind of cute when he tries to use words and stuff. He uses all these big words that he heard about.
Kind of cute.
Yeah, no, I completely disagree. I think there's too much on the line for these people. Also, the fact that the language. The problem is the language, right? And there are so many words which are purpose-driven or have this idea of agency behind them, right? That it's difficult because every time you go, no, that word you're using there, the heart is not designed to pump blood, right? It does pump blood, right? But it's not designed to pump blood. And that's a difficult thing to understand. So when you've explained the bit about pumping blood, he then goes, well, what about the liver? Right? The purpose of the liver is to remove toxins. And you go,
so how far back does liver function go, Mike? You've studied this, haven't you?
About back to the Cambrian, basically. And it really started early. It ended up just being kind of a coalescence of blood vessels around the digestive systems. And it's probably about 500 million years, 450, 500 million years. And it started out as something as sort of a, what would you call it? A means of getting more out of food is what it was selected for originally. And then it ended up with, developing all sorts of functions after that. And it's still developing functions. Like today, there's a good chance that all of us here have livers, and some of them, and each of us have a unique function that the other's liver doesn't perform. That we have some ability to handle some toxin, or to digest some food, or handle some waste in our body or whatever that the other ones don't have, and that's going to contribute to our overall health and longevity.
So it was for extracting nutrients.
What's that?
Was it? So it was for extracting nutrients, like from.
Yeah, it does that, and it removes toxins, and it handles. Oh God, what else it does? It does stuff with your blood and just all kinds of things. And the thing is that it's a coalescence of blood vessels that are really, really close to your digestive system, so that everything that gets picked up by the blood in your digestive system goes through the liver before it goes to the rest of the body. And that's kind of how it functions.
Yeah,
and the
alcohol
heart
gets turned to sugar in the liver too, right? That's seems like a pretty random function,
Yeah, it handles sugar. It creates gallbladder for digestion. It has a host of I think it's got like 500 functions or something like that.
So it's like the industrial park of the body, where you have all these independent processes that are just kind of collected, get together, and they each do these functions. Yeah,
it got really huge. Anyway, and the heart started out as basically there were muscles, and the muscles were involved in movement, so they were moving the organism around. And as they moved the organism, they pushed fluid through all of the different tissues, right? By compressing, by the muscle, relaxing and contracting and relaxing, right? And it moved tissue around, right? And so you had this little area of muscle that slowly became specialized over time and ended up being the heart that we have today, right? So, yeah, good. Glucogenesis.
I'd just like to point out something about Jimbob here, actually. That is he aware that his shirt had the purpose of covering his arms?
No, that's what I said. This was his interpretation of the right to bear arms. That's what Kurt said.
Yeah, but he's changed its purpose. He's naturally selected a different purpose for his shirt.
So he bought a perfectly viable flannel shirt, and then he said, "Oh, I want to look cool and show my arms." So he got his scissors out.
I don't know. I think they make these I think that there are enough of these goofy people that wear these that they actually make them like.
They actually make them now.
Not like that. You can tell. You can tell the shirts. The sleeves
looks
are
like he cut it. Yeah, it looks a little ragged. I don't know, especially on the right.
It looks really fucking shit, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I'm just saying that he's naturally selected a pair of scissors to do that with.
Well, I mean, I used to have a real good friend that was an arm wrestler, and like every shirt he bought, he would hand me a pair of scissors, and I would have to do that to his shirts. But I will say that, like, his arms looked a lot better in his cutoff shirts than Jim Bob's do. Actually, there was a reason why he wore those kind of shirts. But
yep, I guess if you got them, show them off, whatever. But anyway, so the word purpose is what's at stake here. So we'll see what else he says.
With Dave here. But if that's the case, I went right to the brain for Dave, and he wasn't really prepared for it, which is, if Dave says that the brain, there is no purpose to the brain, and the purpose of the brain isn't actually to think, right?
No, that's
but
not what
he
he said.
uses it to think.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said there is no intrinsic purpose to the brain, and he says, what do you use it for? I use it to think, but I use it to think.
Yeah,
and that's he said, what makes you think that? Well, because I'm right.
Yeah, and thinking for the brain is about maybe 0.5% of what it's actually doing for you. The brain does a whole hell of a lot more than just think about stuff, cogitate. Anyway, so what Dave was trying to explain to Jim Bob is that purpose is a word that humans use to talk about why we do things and why we're building something. Like, we will make a hammer to pound nails, and we'll say, oh, the hammer has a purpose to pound nails. But what he's saying is that outside of humans and our language and our little tool making endeavors, the word purpose really doesn't fit in anywhere. There's no intrinsic purpose in the universe, right? Just something humans do.
Let me
and
just
Jim
read
Bob
you.
thinks.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Jim Bob thinks everything about humans and mind have something that they were granted by God and made in God's image. So, like, purpose, he thinks has some like fucking, like it's ontology, right? Like, there's something called purpose in the universe out there, and God created it, and that's just how they think. They're so fucking dumb. they're so blinkered that they can't get outside of that box.
Yeah, so purpose means the reason why something is made, done, exists, as well as an aim, a goal, or strong determination. Common uses: function, what an item is meant to do; intention, a plan or design behind a choice; personal life, a deep sense of direction. So we can see that purpose is in itself has all of these meanings, which Jim Bob just wants to apply to the scientific meaning.
Yeah.
And there you go. It's the reason or the cause or why behind an action or object.
Yeah.
It's called equivocation.
Yeah. So,
what is the purpose of a riverbank, a bend in the river? What is the purpose of a bend in the river? Is its purpose to turn the water? If it has no purpose, does it not turn the water then? I mean, it's kind of what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
What's that?
Its purpose is to meander.
Yeah, its purpose is to meander.
I mean, when you think that somebody designed everything, no. I mean, like river bends have a purpose. I mean, like, when you think that God sat there and like took his little pencil and drawed out how the river was going to like run down through, the states, down through Mississippi and all that stuff, then you actually, you think every river bend has a purpose.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I think that function is a lot better word to use. Like there's a lot of words that I found that when I'm talking to creationists that I have tried to break myself of using.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like,
again, creation, right? In the definition of creation, it does not mean creation can just be an action. It doesn't have anything to do with a creator necessarily. Right. So if they were to read their dictionaries, that would be a help.
What is the purpose of gravity? What is the purpose of gravity?
There you go.
Why?
It's a very great subject.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, this is all what we keep having to understand about human beings is that we have these these fingers and arms, and we do things, and we build tools, and everything we see, everything these Christians see in the world has to be like in this tool making creationist paradigm, and they can't think outside that box. They can't get outside of their own humanity long enough to understand what the fuck is really going on in the universe, right?
Yeah. What's the purpose of mosquitoes? That's what I want to know.
What?
Mosquitoes.
Oh yeah, I don't know. They have those goddamn
Well,
things.
there is a lot of words in the English language which have this like agency attached to them, right? So I understand that it's difficult to use English and be taught English, especially using like biblical things, which deliberately use the equivocation fallacy to obscure science. And I understand it's difficult, right? Because every other, you think about one thing and you get that straight in your mind, and then you think about something else, and oh my God, here comes another word which is, used in this purpose-driven way, and it is very difficult to do that. Yeah. There's no doubt, and it doesn't help that philosophy has these other positions of like panpsychism or idealism or dualism, all of which make the same equivocation as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Right. So that doesn't help either, right?
What I was saying about those muscles, and like these little early worms, and the muscle happened to move fluid through the tissue, and because of that, subsequent generations could get bigger because they could move oxygen deeper into the organism, right? But there was no design to those muscles. Those muscles originally did, create movement, right? They were about something else, and they ended up doing that. And then it's like, so natural selection basically uses that and just builds on it, right? So, I mean, there's no goddamn purpose for the heart. And then when you talk about function, I mean, that's just our way of talking about biology, right? We have to talk about function. What does it do in the body? What does it do for the body? Well, those muscles, they function to move the organism. They also function to distribute oxygen among the tissues. So, I mean, if you want to, that's it. That's our memo to describe what is happening in nature. Nobody sat around and said, oh, we need something to function like this. There is no God. Sorry. To make fat Greek guys look good. Idiot. What? Nature has no purpose.
Well, I mean, think about how much more efficient our bodies would be if we ate through photosynthesis, like plants. Like, I mean, like, and we wouldn't have to kill other living beings to live, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just like there wouldn't be the toxins that we had to remove from all the food we ate and stuff. Like, it's just you know what I mean? Like, so if God planned this, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have used a couple more hearts, or they could have had a spare heart, like when you're 20 years old, another heart starts developing. Then when you're 40, another one, and 60, another one, and just keep going, instead of just one goddamn heart.
And it's one set of teeth.
Yeah. What an idiotic design. Artificial valve has purpose, yeah.
Because I think the fact that we only have one set of teeth has probably hurt humans as much as anything in our life, in our history.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else he has.
My argument is this.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry, I have a super chat.
Whether you agree being irrational and arbitrary is okay. Moral issue.
The question ends up being this, Big Tech. If someone said the brain doesn't have the purpose for thinking, then what I'm saying is that if you don't have the purpose for thinking, if the brain doesn't hold the purpose for thinking, you really can't tell me when, on what basis some brain is improperly thinking or properly thinking, because there's no standard.
That just does not follow.
And
that's where he fucked
such
up.
An ignorant.
Yeah. That is so dumb. I mean, that's why I think the man is truly not very smart. He managed to learn a lot of words. Somehow he memorized them. I mean, you can get a parrot to do that. I don't know. It's just, what do they do?
Two things can be true at once.
Yeah, I guess he can. Yeah. Yep. You know, or there's something about religion that just makes people really ignorant. You know,
Well, it means they don't have to think about it. They think, because they think, oh, well, they've been told that that's an explanation. Religion, God is the explanation why all these things exist. So it means they don't have to think of one themselves. Right? So, I mean, how much easier is that? How many subjects do we have to, as atheists, do we think about and go, well, yeah, what is maths invented or discovered, or, you know, what is the correct ontology of mathematics? You know what I mean? And for some of us, like you and I, Mike, that's a really interesting question, right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy to have spent many hours sitting down trying to think about it and trying to think, okay, yeah, well, yeah, now I think I've come to a conclusion as to what I think it is, right? So, you know, that's been really interesting thing. Same with, you know, like when I was younger, doing my physics stuff, right? Thinking of, okay, well, how did the universe come into existence then? And I came up with a silly argument for it, you know what I mean? And a possible argument. And then I found out it was wrong by reading more science and better science, you know? But I didn't regret the time that I spent sitting there trying to think up something myself, you know?
Right.
I just took that as being, okay, I've straightened a load of chords in my mind. Now let's go and find out what the experts really think about it.
Yeah. It's like intelligent design. If we were to all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're all going to accept intelligent design. What would we do next? What would we do in terms of looking at, you know, fossils and phylogenies? I mean, what would, there wouldn't be anything to do.
That'd be the end of science, Mike. That'd be the end of science.
God did it. Yeah.
People go, well, we don't need it. That's a gap there, but we don't need to fill the gap because we've got an explanation for it already.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's the end of science right there.
Yep. Very silly argument. He's conflating physiological function with purpose. Yeah, he is. And he's saying, oh, if the brain has no purpose, then you can't use it to think.
Jimbob is the master.
Well, worse than that is even if you use it to think, how do you know you're thinking correctly?
Yeah.
I mean, what a stupid fucking thing. You're not, Jimbob. You're not thinking correctly,
no,
and you're relying on God. So, what does that say about it?
Well, I can't be doing that bad though. I'm still here after all these years.
No, Jimbob, I said.
Yeah, I mean, like the ones of us that actually are still alive after we have managed to do a little bit of correct thinking, maybe. And
yeah. So he always asks, what is your standard for deciding what is true and false? My standard is if it comes out of Jimbob's mouth, it's wrong.
It's gonna be wrong. Likely to be wrong, or at least a lack of explanation is on its way.
Yep.
If it's in the Bible, it's probably wrong.
Hi, Andrew Cumming.
I know. That's Andrew. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Hi, Andrew. Good to see you, man.
Coming into existence has any... Yeah. And,
yes, it's me, Andrew. It's me.
Yeah, that's just maybe. But it doesn't stop you thinking about it, does it, Andrew? Don't stop you thinking about it. That's my point.
Okay, so he has an intelligent guy that he's talking to that's going to come in, but he makes...
Oh, no, I know who he mentioned the guy's name. Is it True Tech? Yeah.
Yeah, True Tech. You're familiar with him?
Yeah, I think so. He's the guy with the Starship Enterprise in his avatar.
Okay.
I think.
Who? Who is it?
True Tech.
Oh, True Tech he's on True Tech is on Miss Maud's show all the time. True Tech's cool. He's my buddy.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Like yeah, and he used to be on Tacos all the time in chat. Yeah, he's my buddy. He's very funny.
He's kind of smart too. So, and
apparently
he's trying to talk to Jimbo.
Remote controlled lawnmower.
He what?
He has a remote control lawnmower.
That's frightening.
No, I mean, I think that's the coolest shit ever. I'm like, so bad.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Andrew.
There we go.
Why don't we ask him to be on here more? No.
Well, Andrew comes on once in a while, and we do rational empiricist rants once in a while. We should do that again soon, Andrew, because I got a lot to rant about. Anyway, I think I want to have a little science nugget for you guys too in here.
They let me on for DEI purposes, like DEI. I got DEI.
Imposter syndrome, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I am back from taking my dog out.
If it doesn't have a purpose.
Oh, are you?
And I wanted to raise an issue or something.
I need to step away for a minute, guys. I'll be right back. But go ahead, Scott. I can hear you.
Sure. So when Jimbob talks about the purpose of the brain is thinking, I don't really think the purpose is a thing in this situation. The structure of the brain is for thinking. And when that structure is altered, we see alterations in the ability of that brain to think, or in the senses to perceive or see, or
to reason, maybe.
Yeah, talk or reason, and so I think, and that's how we tell if something is going to function correctly to some degree. In that we can see brains that have a structure X, Y, Z, and then we see brains with a structure 1, 2, 3, and compare them. And if they're exactly the same and they both do these functions, okay, we can conclude things. And if one of them's altered, and the ability to reason, the ability to think at certain levels is altered, well, then we can think, well, there's a departure here. There's a statistical variation here, and we can make inferences from that. So there doesn't have to be the purpose of the brain. It's just that brains with this certain structure are more common, and they do these things. So that whole idea of the purpose is just being purposefully obtuse, I think. So anyway, that's my thoughts as I was walking the dog.
Andrew's living out of state.
Yeah, and he keeps, Jimbob keeps saying, "Oh, well, if the brain has no purpose." Dave never said that. Dave, every single time Dave said it, he said there's no intrinsic purpose to the brain. So he didn't say there wasn't a purpose, right? Yeah. In that sense, because he knows, right, that the word can be used in this different way, and we use purpose words all the time to discuss things which, both in physics, in chemistry, and in biology. We use those words because they're much simpler to explain the simple ideas we're trying to get across. And it's only when you get much deeper into the topics that you find yourself expunging those words. Because early on, it's so much simpler, right? To say, okay, well, look, you've put some water on a heat source, right? And the idea is, when does the water turn into steam? Okay. Now you could describe that without using purpose words, right? By saying, well, all the molecules speed up and they start smashing into each other, and that increases the pressure, and the pressure increases the temperature, and when the temperature gets to a particular amount, then the molecules are traveling fast enough to turn into a loose gaseous form of the of the molecule, right? And you could say all of that and you'd be correct, right? Or you could just say, yeah, we're heating up the water for it to turn into to get to 100 degrees, so it'll turn to steam, right? That's the purpose of heating it up.
Yeah, if every scientific paper avoided all teleological words, like Rebecca and Cornelius Hunter want, the papers would be about twice as long. Takes a lot more words to explain.
Easily twice as long. Easily twice as long.
Yep.
Yeah, you triple the syllables and quadruple the words. It would get very,
And
it would
that's one
seem
of the,
odd and wooden and forced because we think in terms of agency. That gets back to our cognitive biases or whatever.
well, it's not so much that. It gets down to the meaning of language. Right? It's how we describe things. We don't sit there and describe things in the longest form possible. Right? We try to describe things in the simplest forms of possible.
Yeah.
Right? And if we're trying to describe something simple or get some quick idea across. Right? And so we don't really take that much care in using the right standard of words or the right meanings of words or the exact meanings of words, because it's a ridiculous thing to do. Right? Because why? Because nobody is sitting here taking this stuff so literally that they think just because you use the word created, therefore there must be a creator. Because that is obviously, like a fallacy. So, who thinks that somebody is definitely going to make fallacies like this all the time? Right? Nobody goes around thinking, oh, right, well, he deliberately did that. Right, in order to make a fallacy. No, he deliberately did it to get a simple idea across to somebody who doesn't really have much of an understanding.
Look who's in chat.
So, yeah, so once again, I'll repeat the point since he's come into chat. Dave said several times it has no intrinsic purpose. He did not say it had no purpose, like you're saying he did, like you're saying he didn't. You are strawmanning Jim. You are strawmanning Dave right now, as usual. You're strawmanning and using fallacies like they're coming out your ass.
We love your shirt, though, Jimbob. We love your shirt.
No, we don't. No, we don't love your shirt.
No,
you've taken a perfically good shirt that your mother would have liked, right? And you've ruined it.
But Jimbob, we all think you're pretty cute. We think you're really cute. It's cute how you try to use words and how you try to do philosophy. We really appreciate that, and we applaud your effort. You're like the little train who tried or could or couldn't. I don't know which kind of little train he is.
Yeah, Gildo. Yeah, and I think it's also very cute that you've tried to disguise your beard as a microphone.
Oh yeah, as a microphone. But I mean, it's so cute to see people try to do philosophy. They hear the word and it's like, oh, philosophy. I'm gonna do that. And then they say, oh, purpose.
But we're glad you joined us, Jimbob. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Yeah, if you don't mind going back and listening to Alex Malpass's critique of some of the stupid shit you said, that would be good.
That's good. Yes. Okay, let's hear what happens here next.
Yeah.
Okay,
straw man.
so
Dave never said that has no purpose.
Let me ask you that. This is not even a challenge. I just want to see what you would say to this.
Does he have gas? Like, does he suffer from gas?
I think we all have gas eventually, sometime or another.
Watch his expressions.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around what you're saying, because to me it seems a little out of frame, but maybe I'll get there.
Out of frame, yes.
So what is the purpose of a hand? And I'll go on. So if the purpose of the hand is not to play the piano, then why should I listen to somebody playing piano with their hands?
Well, playing the piano wouldn't be propositional. That would just be an activity. So that would be the distinction. But if you said, what's the purpose of the hands?
Right, there you go. Thinking is just dispositional. That is the very point that Dave was making. Right. I use my brain to think. It's a disposition of brains that they can do that. So that's what I use it for.
God obviously gave us hands so we could jack off.
Oh, dear. No, actually, the purpose of an urn is to take a 1/8 of a PP and make it a whole PP.
Okay.
From an evolutionary view, it wouldn't be to do anything, actually. There would be no, that's what I'm getting at, is I'm actually...
What the fuck does that mean? From an evolutionary view, it wouldn't do anything?
Well, it's dispositional. right? It can do whatever hands can do. It can
Yeah,
do.
it does what it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
And
what it
again,
does.
missing the total point about natural selection again, right? This has
Yeah.
been a second time, right? Well, no, natural selection has selected these particular hands, right, with articulated thumbs in order to be able to do many things, many things that we can create using
Yeah.
tools, etc. Why is using tools, useful? Well, it's very useful in order to why so we can reproduce more easily.
Yeah, like the purpose, quote unquote, of our hands originally was to grasp branches, right? So why are we using them to build things? Why do we use them to scratch our head? If their purpose was to grasp branches, it just doesn't. This is just such confusion. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I use mine to find the vagina sometimes.
Oh yeah. They're useful for that. Yeah.
Function. It's function. Yeah, it's the function of your hands, and that's what the hair's for. Almost.
Yep, I haven't done any of that for about 20
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah, I've missed that in the younger generation, I can tell you. All of my last few girlfriends have been had this
yeah, the
weird kink where they just get rid of it all, and I'm like, nah, I'm a 70s man. Come on now.
Jim nub, Andrew. Yeah, the old 1/8 of a nub thing. Basically, how did the penis evolve? What good was part of a penis?
Hey, my ex had a part of a penis, and it worked just fine. He has 5 kids. And he has 1/8 of a penis. So, like, don't let anybody tell you that they have to be full size to work.
You're not being very nice to him.
Not like I'm just gonna be able to grow old and pass along short penis jokes. That's my goal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, come on, let's get back to this
Okay.
ridiculousness.
Actually internally
dispositional.
critiquing the person, in this case Dave, who I really don't know if other people who hold his view agree with him on this, is that he has to say that the brain, the hands, the olfactory, the heart, everything in the body, what it does specifically, which is very hyper specific in what it does. Like our body organs do very specific things, and they're hyper good at them. He would have to say there is no purpose. So there was no purpose of the hands. There's no purpose of the hands. He would say that, right? So if
no intrinsic purpose, no purpose outside of fucking what hands do or how we would describe what hands do. I mean, it's just like he doesn't understand how words work. That's the whole problem here.
Well, he's also very selective about what he repeats of other people's arguments.
Yeah,
I mean, he just straw man's like no tomorrow. He's a terrible philosopher. He really is.
He really is bad.
If there's no purpose to the hands or no purpose to the brain or no purpose to the heart, you couldn't actually say that any of them are dysfunctional, not working.
Oh
I mean,
God.
what a fucking idiot. No, the point is we use the word functional. There is a function to the heart. There's a function to the hands. They've been selected by natural selection for those functions. So, yeah, if they're not doing that, if they're not allowing you to survive, we can say they're dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Right? If the heart stops pumping blood, we say that's a dysfunction. We think that you're not going to be able to recreate any more life in the future.
Yeah. That's one of the most important dysfunctions we know of, is when the heart stops pumping blood.
He's an idiot. He's just an idiot.
That's so much worse than when your tie rod goes or something like that.
And like the thing is, like, he's, because he's misquoting what Dave's saying, right? He's just going back to make the same mistakes that he made, which Dave has already corrected him on in that little like half-hour chat they had. And he kept, he kept moving the goalposts, right? And there was a lovely bit in it where he wanted to talk about humans, and then he started talking about like sexual, the 1/8 of a PP thing or whatever, the nub. And then so Dave went, right, well, okay, let's go back to that then, right? So that was like 6 million years earlier or 7 million years earlier when that was evolved, right, through natural selection, right? And but he didn't want to talk about that. He didn't want to talk about all of the different types of PP that exist within nature,
Right.
and how
yeah.
they've evolved over the years. He only wanted to talk about the human PP. How did you get the human PP with testicles and everything, And so, and he kept doing it, and so he kept correcting him on it, and then they kept talking about the new one, right? And eventually Dave got pissed off and said, "Look, you can't keep moving the goalposts, especially if you don't score."
Yeah, there you go.
And I thought that is brilliantly said. I mean, that is absolutely brilliantly said.
Yeah, if you're gonna miss, what's the purpose? Did y'all know what the purpose that was that God made women's feet so short?
Yeah, I heard that today.
Oh dear.
So
I'm
they
not
didn't
gonna
know
like
it
this.
before.
They could
I
stand
didn't know it
closer to
before.
the sink.
Go ahead, Robin.
I said so they could stand closer to the sink.
Yep. What video was that on? I heard that today on a YouTube video.
Seth Andrews.
Okay, Seth Andrew. Okay.
That was.
It's
I mean, I'm about dying with that.
It's
That
a
was
very
good.
old joke, I can tell you that.
Yes, I know, but I hadn't heard it in a very long time. I'd forgot about it, so
Oh,
I
my
just loved it.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's have some more. We haven't had enough. Whoops.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Got it.
Mm.
How do you? Let me ask you this then. I'm curious. How do you know that the concept of purpose, which you are referring to here, sort of like leaning into and challenging others with,
Mhm.
how do you know that that's not just a result of your own ad hoc reasoning?
What do you mean
Concept
ad
of
hoc?
purpose itself.
Oh, well, I wouldn't
How do
say
you
it's.
know? Go ahead.
I wouldn't say I take an ad hoc perspective of reasoning. This is why you have to get then to the metaphysics of a worldview itself. So to say you ad
Do you?
hoc take reasoning, right? Let's say I did. Let's say I just ad hoc granted myself reasoning.
What?
If I
That's
ad
not-
hoc
that's
not
granted
the
myself
question.
reasoning, and I
That's
said
not
that
the
to you,
fucking
Jack,
question.
wouldn't it be fair for you to ask me, like, well, what are we referring to? Like, if I was a physicalist and I thought everything was just physical, reasoning would be specifically a concrete or physical phenomenon.
Yes,
It wouldn't be
is.
something metaphysical or immaterial. It would be
Yeah,
something
well, yeah.
physical, right?
Another straw man. Another straw man. That's not. But it's not what
Yeah,
the
this is-
physicalist means.
Maybe he doesn't know what ad hoc means.
I don't think he does, but he certainly doesn't know the way the other guy used the word ad hoc. Don't you think that using the word purpose is an ad hoc reasoning?
Yeah.
It just means.
Yeah, that was
just means
kinda-
to say. Just means to say, aren't you just saying, look, this is what, and it is true that's Fodor's objection to evolution, right? Fodor's objection to evolution, but it is the fact that it's ad hoc reasoning, because you're saying, look, once we've got the heart, we can see it pumps blood. And if it pumps blood, then that must be its purpose. That's the ad hoc reasoning that he's referring to. But of course, Jimbob can't understand that. That's just like, oh, yeah, well, I don't even know what that means. No, it means you're literally reasoning after the fact that you're talking about. The fact you were talking about was the purpose of the heart was to pump blood.
It's really weird. Now he's going to talk about how basically if you're a physicalist, right, then reasoning has to be something physical, right? And then he's going to totally. He has no idea how that could be, even though he said the brain, which is a physical thing, has a purpose of thinking and reasoning, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Exactly.
and if you went to heaven and you left your brain behind and body behind, does that mean you can't think and reason? Because he knows that, the brain is doing this, right? And like the physicalist would say that the brain is reasoning because there's a physical process. What is his problem with understanding that? It's because he's got his head stuck so far up this spiritual paradigm that he can't see that. at all.
And things
Well,
like there's things that have brains that don't reason. So obviously that was
Yeah.
not the function of brains when brains first began to appear in biology. Like our brain does that particular thing, you know, in a different way than many other animals, most other animals do. Like,
Yep.
I guess we're the only one that we know of that reasons in this way. And some of us still are not very good at it. So that's all I can say. It's so like, so it definitely wasn't the purpose of the brain. It's something that brains have developed the ability to do because of consciousness. And, like I said, there's still a whole lot of people who are not very good at it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, you know, most mammals have that ability, but like, I'm just saying, it's not
To reason?
look, to reason. Yeah, absolutely. How do you think they catch their prey?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Like, hang on.
Yeah.
Let's not get too far down that line. That's a simple line. It's not that interesting, really. But I would just say that look, Jimbob's problem is he's not aware of modern philosophy, right? Because like in the 1950s or 60s, maybe, I guess, maybe the 70s, you know, there was a new idea of materialism and physicalism, especially, right, which comes up with the ideas that it's okay to use things which are immaterial in order to justify our observations, right? So that's part of the new process, right? And Jimbob just doesn't understand that that is a philosophical viewpoint which is now 60, 70 years old, right? Because why? Because he's still stuck back in fucking Roman times, probably, or you know, like Aquinas in the 1500s or whatever, 1400s. Right? That's as far as his philosophy got to, and he can't get past it. But if you come to modern philosophy, they will tell you, no, yeah, empiricism, right, and physicalism can use things like mathematics, which we heavily rely on to describe scientific theories, right? And without using mathematics, which isn't material, right? So not all physical things, right, that we use are necessarily material, right? But they are as a result of physical processes, like you're saying, right?
Yeah.
They are as a result of the brain. The brain comes up with concepts. Concepts are not material. Does that mean we can't use the material concepts that we use? Right? No, we can refer to them. We do refer to them. E equals mc squared is a concept, right?
I'm guessing is there's not much overlap in the Venn diagram of people who know modern philosophy and people who wear cut-off lumberjack shirts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would think they were right there, especially if they cut their own fucking sleeves off them. Yeah.
Okay, where's I Killed Earl? Why can't I see him? What the fuck?
She's there. That's for
Oh,
sure.
that's happening again.
I had to make sure I was on live chat on the
I know.
YouTube side.
Why does it do that?
Maybe because the word "killed" is in there, or I don't know. It's kind of weird. You know how weird YouTube is. But when I went into live, it showed up.
So Earl, I Killed Earl. I just gave you a moderator status. So because you didn't have it, so now you can post that link to the GoFundMe. Anyway. Oh my. Okay, I'm tired.
Anyway, there we go.
Yep.
Just to say, it's just a misunderstanding, another philosophical misunderstanding of Jimbob.
Well, they have this. They're so goddamn confused about what mind is and how mind works. I can reduce any goddamn thing that you hand me to completely physical processes. I know enough about science to do that, right? Including a goddamn brain. And they have so much trouble with that. They think there's like some hyperspace immaterial thing going on out there. And I don't know. Yet they deny that. They're, what the fuck are they? Universalism?
I mean, they're dualists, right? They're dualists or idealists, you know.
Yeah, they're dualists. And it's just, and they act like it's a real problem for physicalism to reduce things to physical processes, and it's not.
Well,
once you understand what we are and what the fucking brain does.
Yeah. No, I mean a lot of philosophers, they take dualism seriously, right? But they don't say, they're not, they're agnostic at best on it. That's my opinion, right? I'm speaking to like a lot of atheist philosophers that I know. They tend to say, yeah, I don't discount dualism, so,
Yeah.
And you're like, well, fair enough, I do, but that's because I don't know much about it, right? And I don't care to know much about it. I don't see any reason to know much about it,
Well, what dualism is about is, Simos, is that we have evolved the ability to abstract and think and reason, but we haven't evolved far enough to leave dualism behind. Yeah. So we're smart enough to pose the problem, but we're not smart enough to solve it.
Yeah. I've read some books on dualism, Belgrami's particularly, and it was a load of fucking shit. I just wasted like 8 hours reading that book.
You probably don't know much about mind reading either, do you? So like there's
me.
Like,
oh yeah, I know loads about mind reading.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been out with.
You are made women. Yes.
I've been out with hundreds of women. I know a lot about mind reading.
But yes, like you don't know anything about maybe other imaginary things, like
like dildos.
Like dildos, yes, like dildos. Dildos are real though.
Oh no, they're not. It's just made up. It's just what women made up dildos to just give men a hard time that have small penises.
Yes, and I just want to let everybody know that in the state of Texas, it's illegal to have more than 5 of them.
No chat.
Yes.
God, in Minnesota, we would have got so busted. Every time I hear the word dildo now, I think about ICE, the protesters throwing dildos at ICE.
At the ICE guy.
I still think about the National Lampoon's Board of the Rings. If anybody's ever read it, the main character is dildo buggers.
Good.
Me neither, Earl. Me neither.
I like my ice image. Okay. We're gonna listen to some more shit.
If I held a physicalist view,
I could follow you, but I want to make sure we're not accidentally pivoting away from my question, because my question, I'm not sure if you're getting to it here. So
no.
The question was,
go ahead.
Got nowhere near.
Well, like, what if you're like, how do you know you're not just doing ad hoc reasoning and coming upon this concept called purpose, and then you're applying a requirement of purpose
ad hoc
attributed to the brain
for the brain? Well, yeah. If you were to ask me ad hoc, like what's ad hoc? Ad hoc is a fallacious way of thinking, right?
Yeah, this is pretty much an avenue that's not even worth going down. But what True Tech is trying to tell him is that he basically he's using the word purpose out of frame, and he said it earlier, and he said it right. Basically that the whole fucking problem here is when you use the word purpose in humans talking to each other, it has very specific meanings and it has a purpose, right? But if you're talking about evolution, you got to kind of leave all that behind, because now we're dealing with a physical universe. Anyway, but a lot of this shit kind of go down a rabbit hole here.
Right, it's fallacy. Yeah.
Right. So if I were to assume fallacies exist, I'm already assuming, and you are in the question, you're already assuming there's a proper way to think. But that's what's in question. Like from a view that holds that the brain has no purpose to be properly or improper.
Yeah.
He's such a fucking dick.
Yeah, you're already presupposing.
Let me just ignore your fucking question, right, and pivot to the old fucking presuppers dodge.
Yeah.
The presuppers dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck him.
That's like his only fucking move,
Yeah. Because he obviously doesn't know what abtalk is.
No.
You can't say that there's improper thinking. I hold that the brain does have the capacity to properly and improperly think, and the laws of logic would be some rule set that we utilize to measure up against bad thinking and good thinking. And now most of us go with this. But what I'm saying from the internal critique of Dave's view is that that whole thing doesn't exist because the brain has no purpose to think.
That's not what he said.
Therefore,
that's not what he said.
No.
You fucking straw man. Like, okay, I'll just repeat what Dave said. Yeah, it's fair enough. You can't keep moving the goalposts, especially if you don't score.
Yeah.
Fucking
that's a pretty
idiot.
good one.
or there is no right or wrong way to think. Think of it like this. If he holds the brain like a tool, but there's no tool that you point to, even if you utilize the hammer in a way it's not intended to, the hammer itself exists for a purpose. So you could actually argue someone's incorrectly using hammer, right? If I started nailing nails,
who
but
made
with
a
the
hammer?
claw, I
Who
could
made the
probably,
hammer?
one of us could do a competition. It would be funny.
Who fucking
to watch
made the hammer, Jimbob? Who made the hammer?
Who made the hammer?
You
the people
fucking
with the,
idiot.
The people with the word in their communication system. Purpose. That's what I mean by tool making. We're so stuck on this tool making bullshit that I got to put I killed Earl's GoFundMe in my description. So I switched over to another window. Excuse me.
I was letting Scott know that she did, like Mike made her a mod and she posted it. By go, he had been gone. So like I wasn't just ignoring her.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it was visible again, and that people realize it's there. Because they move up out of view and then out of mind.
Okay, yeah.
So we just don't want to forget about Earl.
Yeah.
Who can forget about Earl?
Yep.
And this is what they do. They move to something which has agency derision. So,
yeah, that's the only example they
he'll
have.
just say, well, look, if you see a painting, you know there's painter. Well, yeah, that's the definition of the word painting, right? But it's not the definition of the word creation. So it doesn't apply.
Yep.
Right? It's not.
So
purpose has different meanings in biology. It has a different meaning. I don't know. It's only because you're technically unaware of the biological meaning of the word, right? The way it's used in biology, at least anyway, right? Which is why Dave kept saying there's no intrinsic meaning. There's no intrinsic purpose. That's why he kept using that word, intrinsic. And the fact that you've just completely ignored, or Jimbob's completely ignored that word, says everything about his dishonesty here.
yeah, if the cosmos were like a thing, right, or like a thinking thing or something out there, the cosmos could say, no, your brain has no fucking purpose to me, basically, right? Cosmos doesn't do that, though. So that's what we're trying to say. But me, as an individual or as the organism with the brain, I can say I have purpose and I know what's right and wrong and I know about logic and I know all these things, right? But that's just me, the organism. So he keeps like jumping out to this. If you're a physicalist, then you have to view the entire world as if you are a mindless cosmos, right? Yeah. And you can't, therefore you can't use anything in the universe, including your own fucking brain, to determine what is right and wrong. You see what I mean? They jump out of frame. Yeah,
absolutely.
When all you have is nail, when all you have is a hammer, everything's a nail. And yeah. So that's the only tool they have is the hammer. So everything must be a nail.
Yeah, the only way that the universe cares about anything is us. We are the only thing in the universe that has this caring thing going. Well, us and the other mammals and birds.
We don't know that. There might be other beings.
Oh, there might be others.
Yeah. That we don't know about, but they don't care about us. Probably they care about themselves. If they're out there, they probably care about them.
I've seen movies about those assholes, though, and I don't trust them. Those aliens. I don't trust any of them.
I think they drive by the Earth with the windows up and the doors locked. If they come out,
They fly by and they listen to Jimbob's clips and they say, "Nope."
Either they come back in a couple billion years and we'll try again and see how they're doing. They're like, I hope those He didn't
Come-
touch anything since we left.
Come back in a billion years when his shirt has evolved to have sleeves.
Yes.
Okay. So True Tech comes up with he takes
People
the hammer.
compete to hit the nail in just with the claw side. But we'd all say that we're improperly using the hammer. And so when it comes to argumentation, the exchange I had with Dave here that I reviewed, the interaction has to do with using our brain properly and improperly. But the thing is, what I got Dave on is, from his own view, he doesn't have a standard for improper or proper use. He doesn't have
No.
one.
I gotta-
No, we don't
I'm
understand.
I mean,
following-
that's
I'm sorry
total
to
fucking
interrupt you.
bullshit.
No, that's it.
Well,
I can't have a standard for improper use of a hammer because I'm
Total
an
fucking
atheist.
bullshit. It's total fucking
It's just
bullshit.
like yet I do have a standard for improper use of a hammer. I don't know.
Weird,
like-
that, isn't it? And where did that come
Bludgeoning-
from? From thinking,
Bludgeoning your
yeah.
parents would be an improper use
Oh,
of a hammer.
God, yeah. There you go.
You know, I can use a hammer as a crowbar. That's not improper use. It's a little bit variant from the standard. Once again, it's a statistical thing. You know, there's a curve, and right in the middle of that curve is what the most usual usage of a hammer is, to take a nail and hit it over the head with a hammer. But I can use that hammer to pry open my my trunk because I don't have my keys and I need to get some life-saving something out of it. So it's not a proper. The word proper is not proper. The word proper is just, it's smokescreen. What you want to look for is what's the most useful way to use a hammer.
Yeah, but like one of the things in tool use, though, like when we look at other animals that use tools, is when they start using a multi-tool, like when they use the same tool in different ways. That is like, that is something that we notice, like in animal behaviors, that we actually rank them higher on tool use when they start multi-using tools. So like, like the same tool, but you use it in different ways. Because there are a lot of animals that actually use like a tool, and they use tools, and they will use them one specific way. And so one way that we kind of upgrade what we consider about their tool use is when they multi-tool use. So they use the same tool and they apply it to different circumstances and use it in different ways.
Yeah, I've got hammers everywhere in my house. I really like to have a lot of hammers around. And if I use a hammer 1,000 times in my life, 950 times that I used the hammer was not to pound nails. It was to do something entirely different, crack nuts, beat on something, just.
You can use a hammer to communicate if you know Morse code.
I have done that, I think, in my stoner days. Yeah.
Can you use it as a musical instrument?
I think you can. You could use if you had a steel drum,
Or
You
a
can
bell?
use it as a weapon.
use that as a weapon. Yeah.
Anyway, look, I just feel that this is, Jim Bob, as always, is just straw manning again. And once he gets down that line, there's just, you can't reason with him.
Yep.
He's he got to a point. He was, jumping around a lot in the early part of this in the interview or question back and forth conversation with Professor Dave, and for the first he couldn't just lay a glove on him at all. And in fact, Dave was taking him very seriously and trying to teach him a little bit about evolution and how it works. But the very fact that the more Dave tried to teach him, the more he tried to change the subject. And back and forth. I want to talk about humans. I want to talk about marmosets. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about livers. I want to talk about brains. I want to talk about, pee-pees. I want to talk about, you know what I mean? And he just kept fucking moving the topic. So, it shows to me the dishonesty that the only thing Jim Bob was interested in doing was trying to get a clip from Dave saying something wrong. And when Dave kept saying intrinsic purpose, there's no intrinsic purpose, he realized he couldn't do it. He realized Dave's he was not going to give up that point, right? And so now he's come back on here to make clips of his own saying that Dave said it had no purpose, right? Which is just not what Dave said, right? Right?
No.
Eventually, Dave just said, look, there's no purpose in the sense that you're using it, right? And that was as far as he could get him to go.
I think
Right? And that's the dishonesty of this guy. Anyway, look, I have to go. It's bedtime for me now, so
okay.
I can hear my
Yeah, I think we're going to
my
cut to the chase here and just listen to the last part of this.
See you.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
See you, Funk.
I'll wait to go. If we're going to get to the last point of it, I'll wait until after. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay, he's going to say a bunch of stuff that's a lot of gobbledygook, and my head just exploded when I heard it, and it's just the last minute or so here. But listen to it. I think this is where it is. So
Would make it true.
You'd be, yeah. We would. Yeah, I don't know how we would do that either.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really the main point here is that if from the evolutionary view, everything, including the brain, is a iteration of something before it that's completely downstream from a random process, and what it does isn't actually its purpose. Everything that it does isn't its purpose. And this really attacks evolution because it's not just the epistemic problem I brought up with Dave, where he doesn't now have any access to proper thinking or improper thinking, the same way he doesn't have access to an improperly formed hand and a properly formed hand. He can't say it's improper or proper. He can't say a deformity is actually a deformity. He can't say that from the evolutionary view. It's just a mutation. It's just a change in something. You can't say it's a deformity. That is to say, there's a proper way the body forms. So if someone has, this is the weird part, is like if someone has a deformity and they're born with it, if you were to really be consistent with the Evo view, you wouldn't talk to the doctor on how to mitigate the deformity or change it, like without admitting, right? It's not actually a deformity. It's just, from my view, it's an inconvenience, but from the grand scheme, it's not a diversion from anything that should.
Yep, from the grand scheme. Okay, anyway.
Fuck me, he's an
Like,
idiot.
It's just
What is it deformity with when you're supposed to have the intelligent designer and the all loving God who made your body? Why are the deformities there then? That's a
right.
Like I hate when they say we cannot like do something like that.
Yeah.
The evolutionary's view, you cannot explain it.
Yeah, right. That
Your loving God's perfect designer, intelligent creator shit. That's where I want to see it coming from.
Yeah, as atheists, we aren't allowed to say anything about what's right and what's wrong, and we aren't able to think because our brain has no purpose, and we can't do this and we can't do that. And there's all kinds of things we can't go tell the doctor that hey, we had to get a prosthetic because we have a deformity. Can't do any of that because we're evolutionists. This is just so fucking stupid.
He thinks disabilities are probably generational curses or something.
Yeah. There's an objective
There we
fact
go.
that it's wrong to eat dogs.
Speaking of which, I need to go to bed now. So thank you so much, everybody.
Okay.
It's good to
Okay,
see
Simon.
everybody back, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Always good to see you, and I'll catch you when I'm the next time. Bye.
Yeah, I think we could all quit tonight. I'm a little tired myself. So get hang up. What do you think, guys?
Yeah.
Do you want more torture? I've got a Jay Dyer clip that would oh my God, that would take a lot of energy.
Jim Bob's like a whole, like he's like, yeah, he's enough for one night.
Yeah. I don't know who this Beats 2 slide guy is here, but
he's like the most clueless person we've had join the party tonight anyway.
it's morally right, but in America, it's morally wrong to eat a dog, and you will be arrested. That is why I don't believe in morals. What? What the fuck?
It's not
You're not
morally wrong. It's legally, like he doesn't understand prescriptive and descriptive, or he doesn't understand morality and legality. And that's just a couple of things I've noticed he doesn't understand. So
A whole lot he doesn't
I think
understand.
the list is a lot shorter of things he does understand. And so
Yeah.
I probably better just go ahead and try to figure out one of them.
Yep.
Obviously, he understands how to get on the computer, though. But I bet he's an anti-science guy.
Probably. Okay, guys. I think I've had it tonight. So
Thank you, Mike. Dave, we
Yep.
love you.
we love you, Dave. And we're thinking about you. We think about you more than we text you. And we're not texting you because we don't want to bug you. But I guess I'm going to start texting you every day. You just don't have to read them if you don't want to. So anyway. And I hope things start to go better. I hope we get it figured out. Okay, guys. We're out of here. Are you ready?
Say it, Mike. Say it.
Goodbye, cruel world.